Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Sorting Hat Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Michael Barryte, joined by my co-host, Brice. You got me good. Basic conceit of the show is that we have a guest who is knowledgeable or a fan of some theme, and then we sort various things within or under that umbrella into the various houses of Hogwarts. We're joined once again by David Miller.
That's the second half of that song that they never play. It goes ba 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 ba.
We're loving it. We're sorting fast food franchises. Before we dive in, even there, it is worth noting we should be getting some terms out of the way. I feel like I'm back in parliamentary debate where we need to define things so we know clearly what we're talking. When we're talking fast food franchises, because some of the things that we have discussed, and one of them...
We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Save it for the pod.
Well, we're here now. We're here now.
Yeah, we're on the pod. We saved it.
I'm ready.
What are we terming as fast food?
Okay, because go ahead and give your definition. You're the expert here.
I feel like I'm only an expert because I eat like shit, and when I eat, which is almost never, so I just end up at fast food
places. Yeah, you and I are both garbage people.
Yeah.
We're like goats just eating out of the garbage,
Yeah.
but and then we don't eat for.
But that garbage has ketchup on it, so it's
I also
fine.
only eat one meal a day.
Yeah, that's about where I'm at.
When we were working together, it was definitely a thing I had to remind Reed.
Yeah.
Always to
get
eat.
up, number one.
Yeah, to
from
get
my
up
desk,
from your seat.
And then number two, to go eat something that has
Yesterday,
calories.
Do you still do that thing where you sit on your legs?
I'm doing it right now.
No, well,
You can
no,
see
I
me.
mean when you're sitting, your knees are directly under you, and you're
just doing the little perch thing. Yeah.
God,
I'm conserving body heat. I'm small.
Yeah. Well, all I ate yesterday, to put this in context, was one little oven pizza and some tater tots.
Hell yeah.
That was my entire day yesterday.
I love tater tots.
I haven't eaten yet today.
Dude, they got some cheesy tots at Burger King right now.
Do they?
They're so good.
There's a Burger King that I just moved, and there's a Burger King very near me that I haven't been to yet. But I'm not.
Burger King's doing some more experimental shit right now.
Yeah.
I think to compete with other chains.
They had a rough go of it.
They have a Lucky Charms milkshake right now, which sounds ridiculous.
Burger King, I feel like the highest that they ever got was in the 90s.
Yeah.
And since then, they're the forgettable burger chain.
Yeah.
They tried to go to bat with McDonald's, didn't work out. If we're looking to sort, they're probably a Hufflepuff.
Yeah, they're pretty dorky.
I
guess we'll jump into.
You were about to
Burger
contest
King.
it, but we still haven't termed things.
And I'm thinking, because I'm thinking about a specific Burger King that I used to live walking distance from and go to all the time, and that one was definitely Hufflepuff, but
But I think
Hufflepuff
as,
way past its prime.
But as a chain,
so many things about Burger King are really dorky. First of all, be like, I'm the Burger King.
Burger King, to me, it felt, especially the one I was next to, felt like a fast food chain run by aliens who came down and saw a loose commercial about what a fast food chain was.
Yeah.
And then we're like, well, let's do it. We got to put up a front on being humans.
Also,
let's be
there
humans.
were the characters of the Burger King Kids Club from the 90s.
Yes, I was in that club.
It was the dorkiest. All of the characters were let's just try to hit every kid that you think would buy
also,
our burgers.
Including Wheeler, the kid in the wheelchair.
Also, the cardboard crown is a super Hufflepuff thing.
Yeah.
For you're special, have a cardboard crown.
Especially if you're not a child, which I've definitely seen adult people say, I'd like a paper crown while I eat my food, please.
Yeah.
That's when there's that weird blending of ironic and unironic sadness.
Yeah.
We still haven't gotten our
so
terms
Burger
established.
King is a Hufflepuff, but
all right, so I'm gonna designate the fast food franchise is something that has shops in most of the states. At least we'll just say American fast food ones, and it has to be food that you can get from your order to when they give it to you within 15 or 20 minutes.
Yeah, and then 15 to 20 minutes is it's busy and it's taking a while.
That is the place is packed.
Yeah.
Okay.
But ideally you'll get your food within 5 minutes.
We did have some discussion off mic prior to this recording in regards to pizza delivery options.
Yeah,
because initially
I think me saying pizza's fast food
Will make people
I tell
mad.
you were like, huh?
There were some eyebrows being raised, mainly my eyebrows.
Yeah.
Because usually
because you can also find like a Pizza Hut Express or something, which is
Right.
like
Yeah.
different, and that's a fast food version.
and that
of
is a
like,
fact. Right. You're thinking of the
I
combination KFC,
lovingly
Pizza
call
Hut.
it Kentucky Hut.
Lovingly. So Pizza Hut Express counts as fast food.
Sure.
Pizza Hut proper, not so much. Neither Domino's, because they've got that 30 minutes or less component, which
Yeah.
passes
Right.
us past the 15
20,
minutes, which
yeah.
we are terming.
And also Pizza Hut, I don't think they have as many of them anymore. At
Like
least
this-
in this state, they used to have sit-down restaurants.
They even did. I lived in England for a time when I was a kid, and like one of the big, I was a small town, and one of like the big places in town was that you could go to the Pizza Hut restaurant and like sit down. And
Yeah, they had one like in the Joshua Tree area when I was in high school. And yeah, they're just like, they're disappearing. And my heart's breaking for these poor chains.
Your heart
My
breaks
heart
for
is breaking.
chains. So of the pizza chains, we do feel that Little Caesars with
Yeah.
its
Yeah,
hot and ready
I'm gonna
component
say that is like
falls
That's
into that
legit.
camp.
easily.
Because
because
with
even if
fast
you walk
food.
in and they're like, we're busy and we're out, we have 5 more.
Can you wait 5 minutes?
Panda
Yeah,
Express also falls into that
Yeah.
realm that
for
we
sure.
brought up.
Fast food Chinese.
Do we think that Chipotle falls into that or
now,
Subway?
It is literally called fast casual. Like that is what it or like it's a step between a casual sit down place and a fast food place.
Because we're like watching a conveyor belt of like sandwiches and
There is also, to my
quesadillas.
knowledge, no Chipotles. Not that this is a major component that's necessary, but there are no Chipotles with a drive-through.
Mm.
I've
have
never
to-
seen one.
Right? You have to get out and go in. You can get it to go, but it's still like they kind of encourage a sit down.
I don't.
Feel
Yeah,
more
I
than
don't
a-
think that there's a drive-through for a Panda Express at
Now,
all.
by that metric, boys, would we then have
I've
to
seen one.
classify? If we make that distinction, though, then do we have to classify Starbucks as a fast food restaurant?
No, because that's what I was saying. It's not like necessary to be a fast food place
It is-
because there are banks and credit unions with drive-throughs.
But
It is also worth
it's
noting
food.
when
You get fast. No. Hold on.
we're
A
having a
bank
lot
and
of
credit
fingers
union.
pointing. Lots of fingers are pointing.
We're literally pointing at each other, and this is getting heated. This is probably the maddest I'll
We're
ever get
getting-
on this podcast.
This
and
is
it's
a
about fast
Mexican
food.
standoff.
Are you? Wait. Starbucks is not the same as a bank.
No, it's not.
It's food that you. It's food and beverages.
Right, but I don't think by our metric of fast food, like drive-through wasn't a necessary component.
But yeah, but,
But
I'm
they
just
tend to be in fast food establishments,
yes.
which is why
I'm not sure what your argument is anymore, and I don't think
I'm
you
just
know what
saying-
your argument
I'm
is
just
either.
saying, like, Starbucks should be considered fast food.
It's funny because I felt like you were saying that Chipotle doesn't count as fast food, right?
I was saying that they make the distinction that they're not quite fast food.
Right,
that
and
they're
I was
a little
saying
nicer.
to go along with that they don't have drive-throughs, which like kind of furthers that distinction.
Right.
And then I got jumped on.
Despite the fact that Starbucks has
like bagels and stuff
drive-through,
and little sandwiches.
I don't
and-
give a shit about Starbucks. We're not sorting it.
It's not fast food. It's a coffee place.
You'll
They
be
wouldn't.
hearing from my lawyers.
All right, you can send them
I'm
straight to
gonna
my
get the ACLU
Twitter.
on this shit.
So jumping into more conventional ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just do the big boys.
Let's
We won't do Big Boy though because that is a small chain.
let's start with McDonald's.
Great.
The biggest.
The
The
golden
biggest- yeah.
arches. So
Slytherin.
you think?
Moving on. Next
Why?
question.
Hold on.
Well,
Why?
if you saw The Founder, which is the very foundation, the Michael Keaton film,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
is like a shady shit of a foundation
Yeah,
to
so that-
even
that's
be
what I- that's-
building
that
on.
is
So
a
you're
big
like
thing.
the history
Historically-
of the franchise
'Cause
makes it Slytherin.
It was like this, like these two brothers who were just very passionate about like creating like a restaurant that was great for the community, and they got kind of shysted out of it.
They got kind of shysted out of it, but then also, I mean, there's like a global domination plot with
There
McDonald's.
is that. There is like, if we're looking at like the global impact that McDonald's has had, it's probably not a net good. That's like not even taking into consideration like the obesity
yeah.
like angle, which is like more of a gray area, but just like
Well,
the
and a lot of
carbon
these places
footprint
are kind
of
of
a McDonald's,
similar in
yeah.
that, you know.
And then there's the whole thing of like the way that they really influenced and shaped the way that we see marketing and the way
Mhm.
that marketing especially to children and stuff like that.
I thought that was very clever, which part of me wanted to lean towards like Ravenclaw because they do a lot of like facty bit. Like if you go in now, they have like all these like fancy menus with a bunch of like, I don't know. It has a kind of like smarty feel
Starbucks,
to it.
which I guess we're not sorting. I will also add, like they perfected the art of doing like vampirism, like real estate by like going to a place where there's a pre-existing business with the same model, setting up shop and driving out the smaller business. Other businesses have done it, but I would posit that McDonald's and Walmart are the two people who really pioneered that.
Starbucks failed when it tried to make it in Israel. Like
in Israel and a few countries, like they got there and they're like, we just like our coffee the way we already make it.
I kind of agree with you though on that. Like overall, McDonald's is Slytherin.
And McDonald's has always been about like we're gonna be the best. We're gonna dominate.
I mean, they always boast how many, right? Like
billions or trillions now.
They're like, we have to be loved by the world. That's why they have that's why they have the Olympics. There's no reason for the McDonald's.
That's why they have the Olympics.
There's no reason for McDonald's to be connected to the Olympics. It doesn't make any fucking sense other than the fact that they want to be like
visible to everyone.
They want to be beloved by the world,
right?
And like, there's no other thing that's like involves the entire world.
All right, let's stick with burgers. Let's move on to Wendy's.
Oh boy,
Wendy's, Dave Thomas and his old-fashioned hamburger sandwiches.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
It's Hufflepuff all the way.
Yeah, no, everything about it, like everything about Wendy's is so cute. Like they do square burgers, or at least they used to. I haven't been.
They still do.
They take if they have leftover hamburger that becomes the next day's chili. You know that's some cute ant shit.
Dave Thomas also feels like a textbook Hufflepuff to me. Like even
for sure.
in all the pictures, he's like, they're like, look, here's some food. You want some food? Come and have some.
Like they were like, Mr. Thomas, we should do some commercials. Here are some ideas. He's like, you know what? that all seems really complicated. I'm just going to talk to the camera about the hamburgers. And I think that's going to be effective. And it was!
Yeah. And they are very like, they're the only place that's like, hey, we've got this thing called a Frosty. It's like a chocolate shake.
Which is incredible.
Why don't you go ahead and get that? And we encourage you to dip your fries in that shit. Like
that's not a dignified move. That's some Hufflepuff.
Can I tell you a story about how amazing Wendy's is?
Please.
Yeah.
I'm not somebody who really does the fast food game, but Wendy's wins me over with those fucking chocolate Frosties.
Yeah,
but
they have vanilla ones now too. But
I was on a road trip with my folks. We stopped at like one of those like combination gas station Wendy's situations, like you do in the middle of America, and I go in and I ask for a small chocolate Frosty, a singular small chocolate Frosty. The kid goofs. And no. Sorry.
Or did he do it as a goof?
No, sorry. I ask for a large chocolate Frosty. He inputs a small chocolate Frosty.
It's cheaper. It's going to be cheaper.
And I say, I actually asked for a large, to which he suddenly looks like a deer in the headlights, and I become very apparent, like, this kid's new. And he's like, oh, I don't know. And so he calls over his manager to resolve the situation, and the manager is just like, just charge for the small. And I was oh, that's great. And then they go, oh, also, would you like a second large chocolate Frosty? Because somebody asked for like one in the drive-thru and then decided that they didn't want it.
So
here are 2 large chocolate Frosties for the price of 1 small chocolate Frosty.
That is Hufflepuff.
Yeah, that's Hufflepuff nice. Plus, Wendy's was one of the first of the fast food chains to be like, hey, we're open late.
Yeah.
We're open till like 1 or 2 in the morning. Come on by, everybody.
I wonder who that might have been specifically speaking to.
Right. Hufflepuffs.
We get sad at night and we need to eat. Yeah.
So with a similar notion, Jack in the Box.
Now Jack in the Box.
Because Jack in the Box now has a late night menu.
Yes, Jack in the Box.
And keep in mind, not everybody has Jack in the Box. So what you need to know about Jack in the Box is they are a slightly shittier version of fast food.
But they've got like a wider menu. It feels like a wider value menu.
They were doing bonkers shit also before anyone else.
You can get a lot of cheap food at Jack in the Box.
And a wide variety. Like you can get a hamburger, you can get a chicken sandwich, you can also get a fajita pita.
Uh-huh.
You can also get
Tacos?
You can get taco. Now the tacos you also have to understand are
my God.
not
They're so good.
recognizable as
They're
tacos
so
to
good,
anyone
though.
else, but they are delicious.
You're talking about the like $1 get
The
two.
$1
tacos.
for 2 taco. It was like
they are 2
108
tacos
or something.
for $1.
Yes.
Which I am not sure how they have remained that
doesn't
price
make
for
sense.
over like 20 years now.
They are phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I'm going to stress, like, I'm not somebody who goes to fast food places like really at all, but
Jack in the Box is legit.
those tacos specifically,
Yeah.
I don't fuck with the burgers. Like,
They're all right.
I'm just when
The other
I
day-
was a little kid, I had like a weird instance, and it takes like 1 or 2 things, and Reed can attest to this. Like, I had an instance at Subway, and like Subway is off the
Yeah.
menu for me as like options.
I was going to ask, like,
Which
we
is
didn't
why
mention
I'm
Subway
like
in the list of things.
flabbergasted that you would eat at Jack in the Box, to be honest.
But
It
I
feels
only
like
have
a
the
place-
tacos.
It does, like, knowing you, it feels like a place that's beneath you.
Yeah. And we're not saying that disparagingly. Just
No.
Jack in the Box, like
Jack in the Box is like, I love Jack in
they
the Box.
know what they are. They even like they advertise
They
certain
lean
items
into it.
on their menu as being for stoners.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
It's called like the
The
Munchies
Munchie
menu.
box or something.
and
yeah.
I order it frequently.
Can I have a funny small story
Sure.
of something I saw at a Jack in the Box recently. They have a new burger out called the Buttery Jack.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to a Jack in the Box. I didn't order it. I just ordered like my regular food. And I went and I sat down and I looked up and there was a dude who was sitting like 10, 15 feet away from me facing the same direction as me. So I was like behind him and he had his laptop open and he was eating a Buttery Jack.
Oh.
And he was looking up the Jack in the Box website on the Buttery Jack page. And just like reading it while he was like eating
I
it.
gotta
And
know
it was
more
like,
about this amazing
I got
burger.
a picture of it because it was like a weird Buttery Jackception sort of thing going on.
Now, I also should say, in addition to, I think we're all in agreement that Jack in the Box is a Hufflepuff,
It's
right?
a Hufflepuff. It's just not as like cute as Wendy's. I
No,
think.
yeah, it's a stoner Hufflepuff, yeah.
The commercials for Jack in the Box are like top notch in my mind.
Yeah, no, they,
Like with the Jack dude.
Yeah, I
they
think
did a very like serious brand rehauling
Mhm.
like in the like early to mid 90s, and like before that like they were not
If-
really considered a contender
if
in the
you
major
have not
markets.
seen any of these Jack in the Box commercials, I would just encourage you to go on YouTube and search Jack in the Box like commercials because they're pretty fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've
Hufflepuff.
Hufflepuff. Let's go sticking with burgers with Carl's Jr. and Hardee's, which also notable for their commercials.
Yes.
However, these commercials are very
more like risque, racy,
yeah,
push
like
the envelope
They
sort
had
of shit.
the Kate Upton eating that.
Well, I mean, even before that, they
if
had
it doesn't get all in your face, it doesn't, or it doesn't get all over the place, it doesn't belong in your face.
Like cum.
Campaign.
But yeah, and they
Like
also
cum.
exactly. Barbecue sauce is the cum of burgers.
And like yeah, like they for a while they were like, what sells burgers? Let's get Paris Hilton to wash a
They
car.
did Paris Hilton commercials. Before that, they had Hugh Hefner in a bunch of commercials, which
Yeah.
I only really remember because for a time, my family loved Carl's Jr., which is what it is out here on the West Coast. And we had to boycott it because the Christian community was boycotting the use of Hugh Hefner, a noted pornographer.
Basically Carl's Jr. / Hardee's
It's
like
also one of the more expensive
that's true.
of all of them.
Yeah, so they're like
Don't
yeah,
they have the $12 burger, right? That's their thing.
I don't
for
know.
a while.
They had
no,
the
for a while,
$6
people
burger.
were like
Or the
trying
$6
to,
burger, that's
like
right.
a lot of different places were like trying to get in on like this trend of like, what if we make an expensive burger like that you can eat as a status symbol, and
Yeah.
then everyone was like.
It's expensive.
We're in a recession, bitch.
Yeah.
So they like backtracked on that pretty quickly.
Carl's Jr. is still fairly pricey. It's like if you go and order like just a combo off the menu, you're paying at least like $10.
So yeah, it's like an upper middle class horny dude is
Yeah.
who
They're
they think
a
they
Slytherin,
want.
right?
I think so. They're a Slytherin that dresses themselves up as a Gryffindor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think like that's fair. Okay, so we've knocked out. I feel like the majority of the burger places.
Cool.
Is there any other burger place?
We talked so much about Burger King, we're not gonna sort it.
Oh no, it's a Hufflepuff.
What did we say? We said Hufflepuff?
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, like we established that like by the 4-minute
I
mark.
Or
was,
Hufflepuff
I
that
was
are like-
I don't know why I got so serious and concerned about it. I was like, fellas.
Although I
They're
will
like
say-
a Hufflepuff that's like barely hanging on.
Regarding,
Dude, I ate the most disgusting thing on the menu that I'd ever
What they
seen. I
got?
was like, I had to get it. It was
Oh, I might.
it was like fries.
Yeah,
the
that
chicken
were-
fries.
No,
those are delicious.
those are delicious.
I've heard they're great.
They were like fries. They were macaroni and cheese
I've
that
seen
had been
those.
deep fried
Yes.
and with a shell of Cheetos.
Mm-hmm.
So it looked like like one of
It
those
is
puffy
worth
Cheetos.
noting
Mm-hmm.
Miller's expression during this, sort of like his lips went inside his mouth and he bit down just a little bit as if he were trying to contain the saliva.
No, I don't even. It's not that I want to try those. I think that's really gross. But but like I remember seeing like in the Burger King that was near me, I would like walk there all the time, and me and Eric actually would go there all the time.
Former guest on the show.
Yep. And we would just make. I think he might have tried them as well because he would always be the dude to like try the new thing so that I could be like, how shitty is it?
We're spending a lot of time on Burger King, but I also will say,
I love that you are like, Burger King doesn't deserve this stuff.
No, they don't.
You keep negging on.
We keep coming back.
well, I've got another handful of fun stories around Burger King. So,
Man, I've got a crazy Burger King story.
all right, we'll get to that. So, first of all, I think their onion rings are fucking top notch, but they changed at some point from like when we were in high school to like now, and
Yeah.
now they're like processed onion that's deep fried, which is fucking weird to me. But the crazier thing is, so my roommate Alex and I, when we were in high school, we tried to write a feature, and it was about one of our friends having like a crazy day, and it was called Michael I's Day because his name was Michael Ishkanian. So Michael I's Day, and
Shout out to Michael Ishkadian.
we don't know where he is. If any of you know where Michael Ishkanian is,
Retweet
please
everything.
tweet
Retweet.
at me
Praise
at
for
Belated
Michael
Media. He like literally evaporated. Like none of us have seen him since high school.
Wow.
But so we wrote this like long, crazy script, and part of the script called for a scene in a McDonald's. There was no local McDonald's, or not like relatively close to us, but there was a Burger King pretty close to our school. We went to the Burger King and said, can we film in here as a McDonald's? And they said yes. And so in this Burger King, we had somebody wearing like a shitty, not quite McDonald's outfit working at a register.
Oh my God.
Don't say where this is. I don't. Wait, this happened a long time ago. Why am I scared
that
of them?
Burger King's gone, I
Okay,
believe.
we didn't want to
Oh
put
my God.
a still alive Burger King franchise location on
Burger
blast.
King, baby, you gotta love yourself more than this.
And the best part was, the best part of all of this was like, in addition to us shooting at this Burger King, like filming the whole thing and getting that like one scene shot, what they didn't, like, there were still people coming into the Burger King while it was going on, and people would go up to the guy with the McDonald's like M and apron and everything, and he was like, I don't work here. I don't work here. I can't help you. I think we did, even though we didn't finish the whole thing, I think I have a cut.
Was Michael I starring in it?
Yes.
So we do have video evidence that he exists.
Yes. Of like a senior in high school.
Like, if you can even just get a snapshot of the person working as a fake McDonald's worker in a Burger King.
Shime Viduka,
Oh
who
my
now
God.
lives in New York.
Shout out to Shime.
It was phenomenal.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's like another
All right,
Burger
yeah,
King story.
no,
Burger
that
King's
confirms.
nuts.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're
it's a
Hufflepuff.
Hufflepuff.
Right.
What's next?
Do you want to tell your Burger King story?
Well, sure. I'll make it real quick. It was the Burger King that is also no longer there. It was bulldozed completely to the ground, but it was in Hollywood. And I went in, and I should preface this. I'm not going to say the entire exact thing that someone said because it had language in it that I don't want to use. But
So it was racially charged.
It was homophobically charged.
Okay.
But I would still not say it if it was racially charged. So we go into this Burger King and we're like ordering. We order the food and we're waiting for our food. And there's this person in the parking lot who is like screaming at no one, right? Right outside the doors. There's a little lake in the parking lot because the parking lot dipped in a spot. And anytime it rained, it was like a literal lake.
Mhm.
So she was by the lake and she's screaming about arson. Like arson, motherfucker, blah, 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 arson, blah, blah, blah. And she comes over and she flings open the doors to the Burger King and she yells, arson, I'm telling the like grandma or something like that. Like arson, motherfuckers, blah, blah, blah. And then leaves again. And it goes back out to the parking lot. So we're like, all right, cool. Welcome to LA, right? So we're waiting for the food. And then we grab our food. It's me and Eric again. And we're walking towards the doors. And she, right as we like are getting to the doors, she busts through the doors again. So she's like right in front of us. And her and I like locked eyes in the kind of way that you're not just like making eye contact, but we're like, okay, we're locked in and what's going to happen now? And she yelled directly like into my soul, fucking F word that is charged. And so I was like, Jesus. What? And then she yelled arson again and then turned around and left. And I was like, what?
She was having a bad day.
And I like looked at the dude behind the counter and he was just like, I don't know.
That's the kind of, but to be fair, that's the kind of energy you have to have. You work at that job. If you want to survive.
Especially
you
that
have to, like,
Burger
I
King.
don't know,
Like
dude.
that Burger King was a trip.
Yeah.
So send us your hashtag Burger King stories.
Hell yeah.
So much crazy shit.
Sorting hat _pod. We will retweet them.
Yeah.
Hashtag Burger King stories.
Or like even like if there's an especially good one, I'll read it on air, baby.
It's my general rule of thumb that for fast food places in the city, like in LA, don't go through the drive-thru. Park and go in because you will always have
You're
a
gonna
crazy
get
weird
characters.
experience.
And
So
smells.
Yeah.
So moving away from burgers,
Great.
because I feel like we've dealt with all of the burgers. We should move to pizza so we can knock out Pizza Hut Express and Little Caesars.
Sure. I mean, I only ever really see them in conjunction with another place.
Yeah.
So
I don't
there's like
see
a
lot of them, like,
codependence
just
going
standing
on.
by
I will
themselves.
say though that Pizza Hut Express was an option that you could buy every day at my school in elementary school, which I think is terrible.
Yeah.
I was in the free lunch program, and often like there were like certain like weird like different provisions and rules of what you could or couldn't get, but the junk food was always 100% available.
Yeah, thinking back to my middle school and high school experience, like Pizza Hut and Taco Bell were available options.
But Pizza Hut was definitely an option for us. Yeah.
So I think that like, and I might just be biased, but I think that slants it towards being a Slytherin.
Yeah.
Just like that's not
Although
good.
my
You
school,
shouldn't
it was
be
Pizza
giving that to
Hut
children
proper,
every day.
not Pizza Hut Express.
So, but
Ours said Express.
Yeah.
in that situation, it's definitely a clever shift. So it could be a Slytherin. Also, you could make it like from just the business standpoint of like, oh, we're being economical. So we've made a bunch of pizzas. We've got X amount of pizzas. And that would be like a Ravenclaw sort of move to just like maximize efficiency. But there's the argument to be
the
made.
Pizza
in
Hut
the
Express
direction.
pizzas are smaller.
Right.
So like they specifically made them for Pizza Hut Express, right?
Yes.
They weren't
Yeah.
making these little pizzas
Yeah,
already.
I don't think you can get like a large pizza at Pizza Hut Express,
Not
right?
usually.
No.
So I would kind of go with it's Slytherin because it feels to me like it's Pizza Hut already having established itself, and then it's like, but I'm gonna worm my way into like
Sure.
other venues. I'm gonna
Yeah,
put one
and
of these
also,
in
like,
a Borders books.
If you even, and I'm gonna say also, as if you're a patron of a Pizza Hut Express, especially if you're with other people, you've just been like, I know what I'm having.
It's cheese or
Oh,
If
pepperoni.
everybody
yeah.
else wants pizza, I guess you're getting your own fucking
True,
pizza.
it does
'cause
force you to
I'm
order for
getting-
yourself.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
getting my own pizza.
That's
So
right.
it forces the buyer to also act as a Slytherin.
Mhm.
It's very unlikely that you're. Well, maybe. I mean, you could split one of those if you're
Yeah,
not
gonna
feeling
be satisfied.
You might.
Wow. Okay. The animosity in this
I
room.
don't-
It is
share-
called a personal pizza.
Yeah, I'm not sharing a small pizza. I can barely share a large pizza.
It's cut
with
into
another person.
4 slices, and that's a generous sounding number for what it actually is.
Oh, have you seen that? Have you seen that video? And I believe it's like a two Brits talking, and the guy is behind the camera, and he's talking about how if the woman gets a large, she'd rather have it cut into 8 or 12 slices. And she's like, I'd rather have it cut into 8 because I can't eat 12 slices. And he's like, no.
You don't understand.
It's like, and it's that circular logic, but it's pretty entertaining. It was one of those like, ha, it's on Facebook. Like, they don't understand math.
Yeah. People who don't understand math are the worst.
But
That's
then-
actually like no, that's actually like it's like a threshold for psychological development that they look for in children. Yeah, like it's the whole thing of like they'll give a child a cup of water, and then they might give the same amount of water in a taller glass and say which one is more. So you're actually making fun of potentially someone who is developmentally challenged. Let's move on.
Thanks for that.
Or they're just a dum-dum.
Little Caesars pizza.
Oh, that's a Hufflepuff.
Yeah.
It is sweet. It's loyal. They keep their prices down. Where,
$5.
Yeah, like they were like, we're gonna be the pizza chain of the working
They
class.
even have like a deep dish pizza, and it's only like $7 or $8.
Yeah,
or
and
something.
their breadsticks are fucking amazing. But like
crazy bread.
But like if you say like if you were to be like, I love crazy bread from Little Caesars, you're like, that's dorky to say.
Also, their slogan is just telling you what they have
Pizza,
twice.
Pizza. I don't know if they use that slogan anymore, but we all remember it.
Right. Going off of moving on because I think
that's just
we're
the
comfortable
Hufflepuff.
with that.
It's fresh and available.
Let's move to
Hot and
KFC.
KFC is interesting. I love the romantic Southern Gothic mythology behind Colonel Sanders. Like I think like they try to make him like the Mark Twain of chicken.
Yeah.
And like
especially lately, there's like this whole weird campaign of like he's played by different actors, and then like
well, it's also bizarre because if I understand correctly, historically, like he sort of got kicked out of his own company like once they franchised.
I feel like that's a lot of these stories.
And then got super pissed and basically
waged chicken war for
creating
decades.
like his own, recreated like what made KFC, and people were like, no, you can't do that. There's like one or two still like KFCs that are his recipe as opposed to the.
I'm gonna make a
as
pilgrimage.
opposed to the quote original recipe chicken.
Yeah, something like that. There's like a gray area around like what the recipe.
Yeah, I didn't know he got forced out of the business, so that like especially colors the way that I look at it. And
how
then
were you
also,
looking at it before? Because some of my information, as it is secondhand, may be slightly false.
Oh, you feel like this might be apocryphal?
I am worried that what I am conveying is in fact like I heard it on NPR, so I believe that there's some
gospel truth.
Yeah,
there's some basis to it. But
I will say that on a practical note, for any KFC I've ever been to, their drive-thrus suck.
No, they are on the slower side of fast food.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're gonna wait a minute.
But like not even for that. Like just the placement. The one by my apartment right now, the window is on the passenger side. And the one I had before, you literally the turn of the drive-thru was so shallow that there was a sign posted that said drive through and then reverse in so that you can line up your window with like the takeout window.
Weird.
Yeah, they just don't plan their drive-thrus very well.
I really only went on, and this is just another story that is not going to help us with sorting.
Sure.
Yeah.
But my only real exposure to KFC was when Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, came out, and KFC ran like a promotional sort of Monopoly-esque thing where you could get different pogs that would be for different star clusters. And since I was like deep into Star Wars, I was like, we got to get all the things so we can win the thing. Yeah. And so I ate a lot of KFC that summer of like leading up to The Phantom Menace. And my mom was like strangely delighted by that. Like, I think my mom, because growing up, like I was kind of the shitty, like, I don't want fast food. I want like a meal that we have to sit down at. And my mom was like, I don't have time for this. Like,
we never connect as a family anymore.
She's like, I don't have time for it.
So my mom was like strangely delighted during this period where she was like, I need to get us someplace quickly. Oh, you want to go to
do
KFC?
A quick thing? Yeah.
Great.
I'm going to say that we would just want to follow the parallel of, I would say KFC is like the McDonald's of the fried chicken chains. Like they have the biggest global
The
like,
only
reach.
other one is Popeyes,
There's
right?
Popeyes, there's
Churches?
There's a few different ones. And I would say that Churches like is like maybe the
It's not
the
super huge
Wendy's
around here.
or
I've never heard of Church.
There's one. Oh, I just saw one recently. It's like somewhere in the valley.
Yeah, there's
okay.
So there's a few options, and I would say that they are the most McDonald's like, and I just like they even if that story is true, they also are like very much like the founding of it is pretty shady. So I'm gonna say this is
Well, and they're the
Slytherin.
ones that come under a lot of scrutiny for like
Unethical
gross
treatment,
chickens and
yeah.
animal
Yeah, so
cruelty.
I'm gonna
and-
say for sure safely a Slytherin.
Yeah, I think that's solid. Slytherin masquerading as a Hufflepuff this time.
Probably.
Yeah.
And okay, then continuing in the chicken trend, Chick-fil-A.
Oh, Hufflepuff.
Yeah.
They're the nicest.
They are Slytherin like Hufflepuff. They're dorky, and like they have pretty backwards and fucked up views, but they're also like
they're like all about the nice experience that you have when they're
like
there.
they're the one they're the only fast food place I've ever seen where the waiters come and check on you and stuff like that, and like they really pioneered a lot of the whole like dress up like this on a certain day and come in and we'll give you free food that other places like Chipotle have like ripped off.
They also, and it's a minor thing, but all of their employees, when you say thank you, instead of saying you're welcome, have to say my pleasure.
That's an interesting,
because they have but in the same way, like, you know, the Slytherin aspect is they're very like religiously based in their entire philosophy and like way that they run everything. They're not open on Sundays.
Right. Which is like fucked me up a bunch of times. Like I'd be like, I'm hungry. Oh, it's on the way home. Oh, shit, it's Sunday.
I heard, and hopefully I'm not thinking of the wrong fast food chain. I heard that there was a sport, like I think maybe a football arena that installed a Chick-fil-A, and then it was
like
closed
their games
every
are on
Sunday.
Sundays.
So every Sunday is just an empty Chick-fil-A, like the.
What a tease.
To prove a point.
Are we gonna do like Subway?
That's what I thought. I was like,
I was just thinking about Subway as well.
Yeah, that might be a good. Let's do that, and then Panda to close out.
We still got Taco Bell.
Oh, I forgot Taco Bell.
Can't ever forget Taco Bell.
All right, let's do Taco Bell. Okay. Taco Bell right now.
Okay.
Taco Bell.
I gotta say, it's probably the Slytherin of taco places.
It is.
And Del Taco is a Hufflepuff.
Del Taco is not like a national one, I don't think.
Oh, good to know.
I know that it's like pretty prevalent, but I know there's some places that don't have it.
I'm also a little biased. I like Taco Bell better. Taco for taco. Taco Bell is better than Del Taco.
That's stupid. But anyway,
Taco for taco.
Taco to taco.
Part of the history, though, is that Mexican food actually wasn't even very widely available at the time that Taco Bell came around. The dude who founded Taco Bell, and like this could also be apocryphal, but this is like the generally accepted thing was like, oh, McDonald's is popping off. What else is there? Saw that like Mexican,
there wasn't really Mexican.
That there was not Mexican food, but like that it was wildly popular with people who lived on the border, and then decided like strategically to create Taco Bell to garner the same success that McDonald's and other burger places were having.
So in that regard, you think it's a Slytherin from a business standpoint, or do you think it actually might be a Gryffindor?
Why would it be a Gryffindor?
Like as it's entering a market, sort of like to diversify.
I guess so, but they weren't doing it to like diversify. They were just like, oh, this is just another.
I mean,
angle.
most business practices tend to have like a.
I mean, it's also kind of, if you want to look at it from a shady aspect of like, is it Mexican food?
And
like,
that's the whole thing that they were like, we're going to give the people Mexican food. They did not even try.
Yeah. And it's like barely Mexican food,
but it's still very
Mexican
good.
styled food.
Oh no,
Quiero
it's
Taco
delicious.
I love it all the time.
I like that I suggested that, and both of you got wildly defensive in the way that you were just seated.
Look, I like it a lot. Okay,
but if we're trying to say that this, like, we live in one of the best cities in the world to get authentic Mexican food.
Oh yeah. Ooh, we're spoiled. We're spoiled rotten.
It's night and day different.
Yeah. You never think like, well, I'm in the mood for Mexican food. Well, Taco Bell is on the list of options.
Yeah,
right.
No, Taco Bell is like, damn, I gotta sober up. What do I put in my body right now?
I have
like
$1 in my pocket, and I'm craving something with like kind of salsa.
Fourth meal.
Yeah.
I think Slytherin. I think it's the Slytherin of taco places if we're going on like the McDonald's model.
Gotcha. Okay.
And a piece of trivia: if you live in and around the Irvine area, they actually have the test kitchen there, and you can actually sign up to be paid to try new.
Oh, that's that big building by the freeway?
Yeah, to try new items there. I had to try the waffle taco before it hit the market.
The theory that I have about Taco Bell and their new products is that they just use leftover materials from their last product. Like they had something with like chicken chips or something.
Yeah.
And then they made they had the chicken shell taco.
Right.
And then after that promotion was done and everyone's like, well, that was kind of weird. They had, I think, a bunch of these thin pieces of chicken left. And they were like, some guy in the room was probably like, well, what if we just like cut them up and made them chips? And they did. Like 2 months later, they were like, new chicken chips, chicken nachos.
Unrelated to that, jumping back to KFC, can we just admit that like the Double Down was the most fucked up
It was
but
pretty
amazing
egregious.
thing.
I never tried it. I wouldn't.
I never tried it, but it's
God
just
bless this country. We're
but it's
just like we're not even
chicken,
trying to hide the fact we're
bacon,
garbage.
chicken.
If we're gonna go back on like weird stuff, I always gave Wendy's some shit for having. If you had wanted a certain sandwich, you'd have to go up to someone and say, "Can I have a son of Baconator?"
What a strange
They had a
thing.
Baconator and then a
All
smaller
right,
one.
Subway.
It's one of the few places that like actually markets itself as being good for you,
Yeah.
which I think inherently is Slytherin-ish because it's not that good for you.
Whoa.
I like that it's like they're trying to prove that they're healthy. Fuck them. Let's
At least
punish
it's
them
not
with
like
Slytherin.
a bunch of fried stuff. Like
Yeah, I think
it's
Maybe,
it's a
but
healthier option
But if
than
you look at the actual like nutrition guidelines, they
oh yeah, they're
if you,
slathering sauce
if you
on
want
a lot
to
of
eat
stuff.
the healthy version, you can't get any condiments. You can't get any of the lunch meats that have any fat in them. So you get like turkey
I
or
usually
chicken.
get turkey without condiments. Actually,
So you're doing it the way that they're recommending, but most people aren't going in there. Most like a lot of people I know like love the fucking turkey, like or not the,
the
turkey,
meatball sub.
the meatball sub. And
Mhm.
who could argue that that's good for you?
No, probably
yeah,
not.
it's like I'd
They
argue.
just have less fried options.
Yeah.
That's
I'd
what
argue
makes
the
them
healthier of the like sandwich eatery options is like a Witch or a Quiznos.
They'll also sell you.
Which is not good for you. What are you talking about? I
Well,
get that Elvis sandwich when I go there.
Well, but I'm saying that I think like just the basic meat cuts are like actually not like a synthetic seaweed
Yeah.
sort of.
But Subway does like try to play into that. Like we're healthier. We sell chips, but they're baked Lays.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, but they're still probably a
They're
Slytherin.
baked,
Also, I have
though.
a general crutch against them from like a chicken patty that I got that was like, ooh, not looking good.
Oof.
But all that aside, we're closing out with Panda Express.
oh boy.
I have no idea if this was actually founded by anyone of Asian descent. I'm gonna
No.
guess it might have not have been.
I don't know.
And I will say that's pretty serviceable. I don't think I've ever had an experience where I was like, God damn it, this terrible
Well, you know,
Panda Express
like
meal I've just had.
it's like buffet line style Chinese food. So
Yes.
like and you see that from the get go.
Everybody knows the deal
Uh-huh.
when you're going on. Like the people selling it to you are like, you know what you're getting. You're
Uh-huh.
like, I know what I'm getting.
They will let you try something. They have little
That's
toothpicks
nice. Yeah,
and
they
they'll let you try something.
They give you the toothpick chicken.
Uh-huh. Everybody usually orders orange chicken. That's like their staple product.
Right, because it's tasty as hell.
I usually don't. I usually get the teriyaki, but
In
you know.
checking their Wikipedia page, it says that Andrew and Peggy Chung were the founders. And
What?
if I click on
Who are they?
Andrew
Chung.
Chung, I'm not getting a
Early life and
picture,
education.
but it does say that he is a Chinese-born American restaurateur.
There you go.
So
Well, I'm fucking stupid then. You know what?
I think I saw a picture of them in one of them, like in Irvine or something. It's like
Mm.
the founder picture, you know, like
Well, yeah, that makes sense. Sometimes like things are found by people and then like they grow
Yeah.
bigger.
and part of this may be like my personal experience with Panda affecting it because I for a long time had Panda all the time on my way to do shows because it was
You
on the way to
did.
the theater like every time. So I get a very Hufflepuffy feel from Panda.
Huh. Yeah, no, it definitely isn't going to be a Gryffindor or a
No,
Slytherin, and I
no.
don't think it's necessarily like the most sensible like choice that you can
well,
make.
I think as far as it's one of those places that really is economical and efficient with its delivery system and the fact that it's like, here's a box, like we can do
You can have
only
two main items and
X,
a side.
X
Like-
amount with this, and like it's a pretty efficient system. So like there's the argument for Ravenclaw.
Yeah, and it's also not quite as like fast foody in some other ways.
Yeah.
It's like closer to like the Chipotle fast casual
Yeah,
thing.
but it's a little more casual, like
yes.
less.
Like you're just straight up getting your food like 2 minutes.
And I have found Panda Expresses with drive-throughs.
Oh, I've never seen one.
Wow.
So yeah, I'd say pretty safely it's Hufflepuff.
You can make an argument for Ravenclaw, but I think
It's the game I always play. Not necessarily for Ravenclaw, but just like as
Yeah.
the devil's advocate sort of thing.
I get a Hufflepuffy vibe from it. It feels very like, come on in, have a big plate of food for like some money, and like
Yeah, and like you're not necessarily going to get like a very accurate like
it's like a comfort food type feel.
Like
you know, like you want
Chinese food
Chinese
experience.
food, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I want fried rice and I want chicken with like a Asian inspired sauce on it. You know,
Right.
Asian inspired.
I didn't want to call like orange chicken like legitimate Asian
I have
traditional.
no idea what's in orange chicken, but it tastes like candy.
Yeah.
Probably some orange and probably some chicken.
Yeah.
Like the promise is
suggestion
kept.
of orange.
Yeah. I feel like we've properly sorted everything. Yes.
Well done.
Well done. Well done.
I'm super hungry now.
right.
Yes.
Like I said, I hadn't eaten yet today.
Me either. I have to go to rehearsal after this. I'm going to eat my own fist.
And with that, I would like to thank David Miller for coming on to help us sort fast food options.
You'd like to, but I won't let you.
All right, then. Refuse my thanks. We can find more of you on the Mountain Dew Twitch stream.
That is correct. Twitch.tv/MTNDEW, Mountain Dew.
And you're also at Miller D on Twitter.
At Miller D. Yep.
At Miller D.
Before you, can I ask you a favor? I'm going to ask on the mic, so
Yeah.
it's like more putting you on the spot.
Yeah.
Can you find out why they only have Baja Blast at
Taco
Bell?
I will try to find out if there's an actual reason.
You're my,
I do know that
you're
that's
my
the
guy.
case.
You're my
Yeah.
in.
I'm barely in to Mountain Dew. But yeah, I'll try to look into it because I don't know the actual answer. Because they have a shit ton of Mountain Dew flavors out now. Like,
Yeah, but Baja Blast was like introduced. It used to be in stores at the same time, and then like Taco Bell got it, and then they just never took it off their menu.
and they still
And
have it,
it's
and they still make it.
wild.
Yeah, yeah.
And people love it.
Mhm.
So I'm curious.
To be fair, when I go to Taco Bell, I get regular Mountain Dew, not Baja Blast. But it is good.
But he does get Mountain Dew, ladies and
does get
gentlemen.
Mountain Dew.
Tuesdays
He
and
does.
Thursdays.
Are you
that is.
listening, people who
It's
pay
not.
me?
It's not Michael J. Fox saying that he drinks Coke instead of Pepsi.
I can't say that on my stream. I can't say.
And we can find Reed Brice at that dang dingus.
You can find Michael at that belated media at belated media.
that belated media.
If you could leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Google Play, wherever you listen,
Do it.
those are always helpful to us.
Yeah, and also on our Twitter on Sorting Hat Pod. Is that
Sorting Hat _pod.
Oh, thank you. We are always running really fun, like sort of quizzes and like surveys that you can help us sort more things
It's
when
true.
we're not on the mic.
Yes. So thank you so much for this fast food induced pod. We'll be sorting with you later.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.